Hello everyone, welcome to What's Crafting Wednesday. Lisa here. Hope everyone had a great week. I think this is week 4 of our Jar of Flowers feature. And tonight we'll be making this Easter card. But first, let's get on to our drawing for last week's tags. Have the 2 sunflower tags and then the other 2 tags, the to and from on the back. Let me get all the tickets in here for the drawing. So is it raining where you are? We're having some rain right now. Too heavy, but just enough to make it a little yucky out there. Okay, whoop. One flew out. Let me put it back in. Another one flew out. What is wrong with me tonight? Okay. I'm going to mix them up a little more in here. And I have my tickets. And it is Regina. Well, congratulations, Regina. I will get these off in the mail to you. Okay, everyone, so I made this little 3D Easter card, and I combined it with the Timeless Tulip stamp set because there's the tulips in the floral bundle, and that's the inside. So let's get started. Get my little card kit out here, put my envelope aside. And it is a crumb cake card base, and it is cut at 11 by 4 1/4. I had to think for a minute. Okay, I just got in. You have to excuse me if I'm not quite in the groove of everything yet. And for the inside, I have basic white cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And for the front, So Saffron, that is 4 by 5 1/4, and a basic white layering piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. And I have a scrap piece of basic white for stamping. And then using the layering ovals and the In Good Taste Designer Series paper, I looked at this piece and I thought that looked like it could be a wooden basket. So that's what I made with it. I cut the one oval. I believe it's the largest one in the set. And then I just cut it in half and I snipped a little bit off the bottom, as you can see here. And then with this, I cut the same size oval and then a smaller one inside, and then we're going to snip that down after to make the handle for the basket. So let's get started. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. Okay, we will be using Memento Tuxedo Black for stamping, and then for the inside and envelope, So Saffron and Old Olive. And I have some blends here for coloring, and for the bows, the braided linen trim. And that's it. Now what I did with this, I just placed this basket piece on here, just where I wanted it to go, just so I had the placement for the flowers, because I stamped these first so it looked like they would be coming out of the back of the basket. So I have this placed here so that I know where to stamp. And then this is stamped on the scrap paper and then fussy cut and popped up with dimensionals. Now the same as with the Versamark last week, since this is a smaller pad, I'm turning it upside down and pushing it onto the image rather than the usual way where we put the stamp into the ink pad. So I want this to stick out a little bit there, so that's why I'm placing my basket, but I don't want it to go out too far. And now my paper just moved. Okay, so, and I angled it a little also. How come this worked when I did this on my own with no one watching? Isn't that always the way? All right, so angled out a little bit, and let's move this. And then I inked it up a second time. I can see I didn't get good coverage right in the middle there. Okay. I apologize if I just put my head in there. And I'm just going to put that there again, just for a little more placement, so I don't overextend the stamp. And that looks good. I'm stamping right over what's already there because we're only going to see it on the outside. The inside will have the popped up overlay. Okay. And then one more on the scrap paper. And let me get this covered because otherwise I'll have some sort of accident here with it. Okay. Now I know this looks a little messy right now, but once we put it together, it will look good. Fingers crossed. Now, I'm not going to color in the middle here, just along the outside and what comes up on the top. So just quickly, nothing special. I'm just putting in some green here. I know last time I did this, I did these in one of the purple because I wanted it to look like lavender. But today I decided to do it in the green, and I wanted it to look very spring-like and Eastery. So hopefully that's what we will end up with. Spring-like and Eastery. I think I got all of that there. And I'll just quickly do these leaves that are going to show. And I'm not worrying too much about how that looks because most of this will end up covered. And these are the old olive blends that I'm using. And just fill in the leaves. Okay, I think that's all that will be showing. And then with these little flowers here, I use the dark rich raspberry for the centers. And then I went over them with, I think it was the dark purple Posy, not the light. No, that's... Yeah, I think this is the right color. Okay, and then I use the dark and the light Seaside spray for these flowers here. Let's see how many of these are going to show out here. Not that many. I think that will be good. I don't think that's going to show. Okay. Just went over it a little bit. I don't think that'll show there. And then the tulips, I did the light pumpkin pie down here and in the middle. And then I use the dark and the light So Saffron. Okay, now let me just check if anything else. Just going to put this aside and color this and fussy cut it, and then I don't think anything else needs to be colored on this piece, but we'll see when I get to it. And just using the fine tip of the blend just to fill in these little green, I don't know what we call them, little doodads on the stems. How's that? Very technical, right? Put some more in there. So now on this one here, I just have to be a little more careful with the coloring because this is what will be showing front and center in the basket. And over it with the light, just quickly. I think that's good. And again with the little purple flowers. Anyone that knows me knows purple is my favorite color. Any shade of it. Okay, and then we'll go on to the dark saffron. Right now as I'm coloring it, it makes me think of candy corn with the orange and the yellow and the white. Okay, I see it looks like I missed a little bit of the green doodads there. And now for the blue. This is very quick coloring. And when you use blends, you don't always, I know I've said it before and I'm sure you know, you don't always have to go to the ends either because the color does bleed a little bit. And now I'll do a little fussy cutting here. And of course, at the end, we will finish it off with a little bit of Wink of Stella. Just trying to get close to the flowers so there's not too much of the white when we pop it up. So who likes to fussy cut? I remember back in the day, first started stamping, didn't have all these nice dies that cut everything out for us. So we used to do a lot of fussy cutting back then. And I'm sure a lot of you remember that. And I know some of you still like to fussy cut. Kind of can be relaxing, right? Let's go around your image. And as long as you have your snips, it is quick and easy to do. So I'm just going to place this over here just to see if I missed any flowers that will be showing. No, it looks good. Just going to add a little bit of color right over here. I think we're good. Now this gets adhered to the saffron base. And then that will get adhered to the crumb cake card stock base. And I'm putting this on first before the basket because it's easier since the basket will be popped up with dimensionals. It's easier to put that on once the card is assembled. Okay, so now I'm just going to place this here so I know where to cut the handle for the basket. So you want it to come up, but still show a little bit sticking up from the top. So let's see, I'll cut it about there and about there. And I'm going to put a little bit of the glue there and fit it onto the basket. Okay. And now we're going to add the dimensionals. So I used the large and the small. And what I did where I had glued the handle to the basket, I put a dimensional on top of that just to make sure it gets held there good. And then I use smaller ones on the handle. And up here on the top. Okay, I think that's enough. Just get all these backings off. I don't know, when I sit and craft by myself, it seems that I pull the backings off 1, 2, 3. But when you're watching me, it seems like I'm taking forever to do it. I had envisioned a basket of flowers for Easter, so I hope when we're finished and you see them that you envision my basket as well. Okay. And then this here gets dimensionals as well. Small one up there and another small one over there. And then just stick that so it's in the basket a little bit there. And there, so you can see the flowers coming from behind the basket and then the ones that are popped up here in the front. Now we're going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella and just add it into the centers here. And anything sticking out there I can add it to. Okay. And now to make the bows. Here's the end of this. When I made them for the card, I didn't cut it off first. I just made the bows and then cut it. All right, then you just pull them down and shape them a little bit. Make sure they're nice and tight. And now the second one. I debated at first. I put one on, and then I thought, no, one on each side would look cute. Because I first thought about using a colored ribbon and just putting one on, but then I like this braided trim. It looks nice with the basket. And then I adhered these with glue dots. And I did roll it to fit the ribbon. Okay. And I just put it right on where the handle of the basket meets the basket. Just roll it in my fingers and then put it on the back of the bow. And then trim the tails down. And now we will do the inside and the envelope. So I use So Saffron, and I didn't stamp off because it is a very subtle color. So I just stamped full strength in the center. And then we might as well put it on the envelope while I'm at it. And then I used Old Olive for the sentiment. Make sure I have it going the right way. And I stamped it right over the tulip. And for the envelope, just took the stem, just inked a little bit of it up in the Old Olive. There. And now we'll adhere this to the inside of the card. Okay, so there is my 3D Easter basket. I think I may put another dimensional back there. Just peel the back off it. I can peel it off. Okay. So my 3D Easter basket of flowers. So everyone, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this week's card and the envelope. Tell me if this looks like an Easter basket of flowers to you. Let me know if you'd be making this yourself if you like to fussy cut. You know I love to read your comments, and you'll be entered into the drawing next week for these 2 cards. Aside from that, I just got in a little while before Facebook Live. I have not gotten to look at the retiring list yet. I have not gotten to look at the PDF of the new catalog. So when we get off, I will be catching up on all that. I will be sending out a newsletter regarding the last chance list, but it is already up on the Stampin' Up site. There are a lot of retired items that are drastically discounted. They're available from today until, I forgot what the date is, while supplies last. So once they sell out, they are gone. So if you see some things on that list that you like, you want, you can't live without, I'm sure there'll be a lot of things you can't live without, don't delay in placing your order because it is while supplies last. Okay, everyone, I am going to go and check that list now and drool over the upcoming catalog. And I will be checking your list that you sent me of what items you think will be retiring. So I will be posting about that as well, letting you know if anyone guessed if they guessed 10 correctly or not. And I will have little gifts for you for participating. So that's it for this week's What's Crafting Wednesday. Next week will be the 5th and final Facebook Live for Jar of Flowers. So I do hope you've been enjoying this segment this month. So have a great and crafty week, and I will see you back here next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thanks. Bye, everyone.